A number of years ago, our family and my in-laws were visiting down the east coast. As we often do when we hang out with my in-laws, we went op shopping and then we went to the tip shop and we found a few things that we wanted. And we thought, it's a lovely day, we're in St Helens, why don't we drive to the Pyengana Cheese Factory? Beautiful country drive, lovely spot out there, the cheese is great. We thought this is going to be awesome. It was a lovely hot Tasmanian summer day. We thought we might even go for a walk at the nearby waterfall to cool down if we got too hot. We were very ambitious. Because of the number of people who would get there, we needed 2 cars. So we decided we'd have a boys' car and a girls' car. But the boys' car also had to have Abby, because Abby was 1 and in a baby seat, and we weren't changing the car seats across. So in the boys' car, you had me and my father-in-law and Caleb and Abby, and then in the girls' car, you had Naomi and her mum. We stopped briefly to confirm the route we were going to take, and then the boys drove off first, because, who wants to be stuck behind girls on gravel roads? And the girls followed at a slightly longer distance because of the road that we were on. After a while, I noticed I couldn't really see Naomi in the rearview mirror anymore. And when we tried to call her, we discovered we couldn't because we'd lost phone signal. That's okay. She'll be back there somewhere. She'll catch up. We were sure we were headed in the right direction. After all, it was Naomi who had confirmed that this was the road we were going on and this would take us to where we wanted to get. And we always follow our wives' instructions about map reading, don't we, men? I expected to hear a much bigger yes. Correct. Problem was, it was meant to be about a half-hour drive. And after 40 minutes, we still weren't there. And the signs didn't look right. I'd been there before, and the road didn't look the same as what I remembered it as, and we didn't seem to see any signs mentioning Pyengana anymore, except for every now and then one, and it had in brackets Pyengana, which means you're not on the road that's going to take you right there. You're going to have to turn somewhere. But we never found that turn. She'll be right. How lost could we be? It's Tasmania. But the drive seemed to take longer and longer. We stopped for a while and still couldn't see Naomi coming up behind us. Still didn't have any phone signal. Had only seen 2 cars travelling in the opposite direction. And it very slowly dawned on us, who are thick of skull, that we were on the wrong road. And we had no phone signal. Which means we also had no maps working to tell us which road we were on or where we should turn. Eventually, we decided we needed to push forward rather than go back because we had seen a sign pointing to Ringarooma. And we knew that that would at least get us to civilization. People who know the East Coast are laughing over here. We knew that if we got to Ringarooma, we would at least get back to civilization and we could figure out where we were. Besides, I want you to remember, we had Abigail in her car seat. She was 1 year old. And what we didn't have was her nappy bag. And because Naomi was in the other car, we also didn't have her food supply. We thought, if this girl wakes up, we're in trouble. We need to be as close to a supermarket or something as we could possibly be, and going forward meant getting there quicker than going back the way we had come. Thankfully, I'm right. Tasmania's not that big. We did manage to get to Ringarooma. And eventually, safety. Naomi and Julie had much earlier than us realised they were on the wrong road and had found a place to turn and get to the right road. When we finally reached phone signal, we discovered a number of messages on the phone from Naomi and Julie, ranging from, "You guys lost?" to the, "Can you give us a call? We haven't seen you for a while." To the, "Oh my gosh, where on earth are you guys? We're already in Pyengana and you're not here." and there was a few in between. Eventually we found signal, found maps, made our way to Pyngana and met up with the girls for some cheese after all. We didn't go to the waterfalls, just so you know. From that day on, that holiday has had a permanent name in our family. That was the Ringarooma Romas trip. And anytime we look even slightly lost, we are very quick to go, hang on, is this another Ringarooma Romas moment? But afterwards, when we looked properly at the map and I realised the road that we were on, I thought that could have been a very dangerous situation. We had no working phone, no map, no water in the car, no nappy bag, no food supply for the baby, no idea where we were, and no traffic to wave down if something went wrong. On a hot Tasmanian summer day, with a 1-year-old child in the car, and a 9-year-old, Caleb, by the way, as well, who didn't whinge, amazingly enough. We were lost and had no idea that we were lost at all. And sometimes the most dangerous kind of lostness is the one that is absolutely certain that it's not lost at all. And that's exactly where Jesus takes us in that short parable that we heard this morning. Luke tells us that Jesus told this parable to some who were confident of their own righteousness and looked down on everyone else. That's the sentence that unlocks everything that flows afterwards. We know who it's spoken to, so we can understand its meaning very clearly. This parable shows us two different ways of standing as those who are lost before a holy, loving, and just God. Two men went up to the temple to pray, Jesus says. One, a Pharisee, and the other, a tax collector. The categories here are obvious. The Pharisee was the good man, respected, disciplined, serious about obeying God. This is the kind of person people pointed to and said, that's what faithfulness looks like. That's what I aspire to. I want to be holy and righteous like that man. The crowd would assume that the Pharisee was the one welcomed by God. The tax collector is the opposite category. He was a collaborator with the Roman occupiers. Tax collectors were well known as people who got rich by taking advantage of their own people. They could set the tax where they liked. As long as Rome got what they got, the tax collector could reap a profit off the top. And we know this because later in John's Gospel, Zacchaeus? Yeah. We hear the story of the tax collector and how he was ripping people off. This is someone most people thought was far from God. But the story Jesus tells is very different, isn't it? He turns that whole view upside down. The Pharisee stands by himself and prays, God, I thank you that I am not like other people. Now, can I suggest you never pray that prayer? Even if it's true. Robbers, evildoers, adulterers, or even like this tax collector. I fast twice a week and I give 1/10 of all I get. Sounds religious. Sounds thankful. I thank you, God, that I am not like these other people. But if you listen carefully, this is a Pharisee only interested in himself. He stands before God and essentially says, look at my life. Look at my pattern of discipline. Look at how faithful I am to do these things. Look at my moral record. I'm set. And if we're honest, that prayer doesn't sound completely unfamiliar. This man is religious, He is disciplined and he is sincere. But he's blind. He's blind to the fact that righteousness cannot be earned. He is blind to the fact that even our best efforts cannot deal with the reality of sin. And he is blind to the fact that before a holy God, remember that reading from Isaiah? Remember the vision of the holy God? The train of his robe fills the temple with glory. The angels have to cover their dirty parts, their feet, because they cannot be gazed upon. They cannot gaze upon the Lord themselves, and they cannot have their dirtiness gazed upon. That holy God. None of us can stand before that holy God, trusting in our own righteousness before that holy God. All of us need mercy. The Pharisee is lost, and he doesn't even know it. Then Jesus shifts our attention to the second man. The tax collector stands at a distance. He feels so distant from God that he cannot even lift his eyes to heaven. He does not list his achievements. Instead, he beats his breast and says only, "God, have mercy on me, a sinner." That's the whole prayer. No resume. No attempt to explain or justify. Just a simple, honest cry for mercy. And Jesus says something that would have absolutely shocked everybody who was listening. I tell you, this man, rather than the other, went home justified before God. The one who knew he had nothing to offer. The one who knew he was lost. The one who knew he needed mercy. It's the heartbeat of the gospel. The heartbeat of the gospel is mercy for sinners and rescue for the lost. We always have to ask, how can the holy God justify the sinner? Because the tax collector's prayer and God's response to it only makes sense if mercy is actually available. The tax collector praying, "Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner," and Jesus saying that man went home justified before God only makes sense if the mercy is real. So how can a holy God justify a sinner? The answer is found where the one telling the parable is heading. Because as Luke's gospel unfolds, Jesus is walking to Jerusalem and towards the cross. At the cross, Jesus takes the place of sinners. The judgment we deserve falls on him. The righteousness we do not have is then given to us by faith in Jesus. And it is freely given by the one who knew the cost and willingly paid it. That's why it's mercy. And it's real mercy. The way into the presence of God is not through spiritual achievement. It's not through proving ourselves. It's not by turning up and doing all the right stuff, as if that counts. All of our good deeds are as ash. The way into the presence of God is by trusting the one who gave himself for us. And that's why Jesus ends the parable with the great reversal. All those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. The Pharisee exalts himself. The tax collector humbles himself. And the one who goes home right with God is the one who simply acknowledges, Lord, I need mercy. Lord, I need mercy. It's what we all need to hear, because in this story, Jesus, as I said earlier, is exposing two ways of approaching God as those who are lost. And every single one of us starts lost. In the church, we often sound more like the Pharisee than we realise. Lord, I try to be a good person. Lord, I'm doing my best. Lord, I. But underneath it all sits the same assumption that somehow we can stand before God on the strength of what we do, and on the strength of what we bring, and on the strength of our own righteousness. Look at me, look what I'm doing, God, surely that counts for something. Here Jesus shows us where that road leads. It leads to a prayer that sounds religious but never actually asks for mercy. It leads to a blindness of our own need of the mercy and grace that is so freely offered to us in Jesus. The other way, the other option is far simpler. God, have mercy on me, a sinner. It's not dramatic. It's not impressive. But it is honest. It's the prayer of someone who's not pretending. It's the prayer of someone who has realised that before a holy God, we all stand in exactly that same place, in need of mercy. Have you considered how short that prayer is? Just 7 words. God, have mercy on me, a sinner. That's all. And Jesus says that man went home justified. That man went home in right standing with God, because he knew the one who could provide the mercy, and he trusted that he would. He put his faith in that mercy. Friends, the door into the kingdom is not opened by impressive prayers, nor by faithful service, nor by spiritual achievement, nor by ticking all the right boxes. The kingdom of heaven is opened simply by mercy. Mercy that is made possible because Jesus walked the road to Jerusalem. Mercy that is made possible because at the cross he carried the sin of the world. Mercy because the judgment we deserved fell on him. Mercy because the righteousness we could never earn is given to those who trust in him, who put their faith in him, who say, I believe that you are Lord, that you have paid the price for my sin. Lord, have mercy on me, a sinner. Tonight, tomorrow, any day, anyone can pray the prayer of the tax collector. Not because the words are magical, but because Jesus made the mercy possible. And the moment that you pray that prayer, trusting in the promises of God that are fulfilled in Jesus Christ, it's not, here's the magic formula. Say these words and you'll be fine. No. The moment you genuinely pray that prayer, trusting in the fulfillment of it, trusting in the promises of God that are fulfilled in Jesus Christ, you are no longer standing at a distance wearing your shame, wearing your brokenness, wearing your sinfulness. Instead, you are standing before God clothed in the very righteousness of Christ. God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Because of Jesus Christ, the one who came to seek and to save the lost, the one who fixed his eyes on Jerusalem, and for the glory set before him, endured the cross. No one who truly and humbly prays that prayer will ever be turned away. God, have mercy on me, a sinner.